find the bucket with the handles in it.
Okay, this is the tutorial on Evilgrade. I'm starting over for the third time because my phone decides that it doesn't want to record cool tutorials.
Oh, where'd you put it?
But now I guess it's decided that it will. Okay.
Oh, the red carpet?
Let's see.
Yep.
All over.
No, it's a piece of rubber. It's
okay.
Vinyl, right? Wait.
No, that's carpet. The other piece I didn't bring because I couldn't get the stuff off in it.
Evilgrade.
Just spin it, Sandy.
The stuff that's on it. I don't know what kind of stuff, but it's heavy stuff. I need some help.
Evilgrade is a program designed. Sorry if I sound unenthused. This is my phone keeps shutting off. Okay, Evilgrade is a program for hackers to exploit victims.
Get the hell out! We have new tenants over there.
The cats moved into my spot. They've been learning all my tutorials. Let's see. Okay. Basically, Evilgrade is a payload management system. It delivers payloads to victims. These payloads are code or executable programs that are malicious or nefarious. They open a shell on a victim's computer. The shell is either a the shell is going to be a root shell or a super user shell, but it's basically a shell is any user interface to interact with the computer, with the machine. Let's see. This payload is delivered. Let's see. This is the internet right here. This is the victim's router. I'm actually going to check if my phone's recording. Yes. Okay. At least we got some of it this time. Okay, we got the internet, the router. Sometimes there's a switch. We got the victim. Okay. The payload is designed. There's 54, I believe 54 different payloads that exploit 54 different programs that a victim would be using normally. iTunes is one of the programs. Microsoft Windows Update is another program. apt-get, Ubuntu's apt-get is another program. There's a list. There's 54, and these programs are widely used. What happens is the person goes to update and they get a payload instead. So what we'll do is we'll go over and see just how it works so that we can be better at it, so we can understand it, so we can... It's a concept tutorial. That way we can understand what's going on, we can visualize it, we can see it, so we can be better at it, and better at stopping it. So what happens is the hacker gets on to the victim's network. They gain basically an IP address or whatever that is on the same network as the victim. Through the Wi-Fi, through the internet, whatever. If you get through the Wi-Fi, then, you know, as soon as the router gives you an IP address or whatever, then you're on their network. There's other ways too, but when you're on the network, the victim is running one of these 54 programs. We'll just say that they're running Windows. And they're not fully updated, so they need to continue updating, or they believe they need to continue updating. What happens is, anytime this computer tries to access the internet through a name, it has to go through what's called a DNS server. So they're trying to go to Microsoft.com. It's actually something.microsoft.com, whatever, update, blah blah blah. What happens is the DNS server doesn't use human names like we do. It uses IP addresses. So the DNS server transforms Microsoft.com into 4.4.4 .4, which is a great thing to ping to see if your computer's working. That's not the real IP address of Microsoft.com. What happens is this address has been resolved. So now this is just going on. Let's just say you're not even connected. That goes on, you know, boom, Microsoft.com, getting updates, whatever. Now we show it with the hacker. The hacker is on the network. The hacker opens up Evilgrade in his tools and stuff like that. Evilgrade, Metasploit, Wireshark, DNS spoof. So what happens is he has this web server running on his computer. A web server is a thing that gives web pages to people, like a food server, but for web pages. And it's basically, it's a daemon of some sort. I don't believe it's a full Apache web server, but it is a daemon of sorts. The hacker creates, he doesn't create, he modifies the payload that has all the code in it to say his IP address and the port that he wants to connect on. He wants to be connected on. He's also running a thing to sniff the network traffic. It's not dsniff, so I want to say it's Wireshark. I don't know what happened to dsniff. But they're listening to everything. That program is listening to everything that's going on. This is an ear. That's why it looks like an E, because it's an ear.
Hey, where's my DVD of Hackers? The original one.
Oh yeah, I made this video because people kept asking me about hacking. The original Hackers, the one with Angelina Jolie. So that's why I made this YouTube video. Actually, this is a video for Eternal LLC's website.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're moving on up.
We're gonna have a section just for Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, just only Angelina Jolie in Hackers, and all the other movies she was in. So what's going on is this payload. Excuse me. It's listening for any time that someone's going to Microsoft.com. As soon as it sees someone going to Microsoft.com, the specific address of Microsoft.com, update, let's just say update.microsoft.com. As soon as the person sees that, they inject their IP address, this IP address that they put into the payload, into this, changing this. Basically, they're pretending to be the DNS server. So they say Microsoft.com is located at 192.168.0.6. So this computer, it says, okay, I'm going to Microsoft.com. It goes to this. But instead of going up to the internet, it goes through here. Straight into the daemon. The daemon knows and sends the payload into the victim's computer. It injects it. So while this person is, I think they can actually be simultaneously at both sites at the same time. I think it kind of like relinquishes control a little bit and lets the person download, and when it gets in there, this person says, thanks for my update, execute. Yes, I want to have this updated. Yeah, I asked for it. I wanted to download it. And what Evilgrade will actually do is say, hey, you have a new upgrade. Once this is run, basically it's just malware, a virus. It opens a shell, a super user shell. Now the hacker has control of this shell, and you may think Windows doesn't have shells. It does. It has. You can actually type commands into Windows and have it do stuff. Even if this was a Ubuntu or one of the other operating systems that use whatever one of these 54 programs. Now, with once that's done, you're good. You can run Metasploit and start to type commands or whatever. Change their desktop background or more nefarious stuff. We'll get into that after this. So let me see. I think I did better the last time. Let me make sure I'm recording. Okay. All right. So once the person's injected this package, like they could set up Dyn DNS so that they could disconnect from the Wi-Fi and be anywhere. We'll get into that. We'll get into the things you can do once it's over. That's more of Metasploit. So let's see. Has been injected the package? Oh, the problem. One of the problems I ran into with the payload is the MTUs. That's something to think about. If your MTUs, if you're using a 100 megabit card, your MTUs, your message transmission units may be too low to be able to send this large a packet in the time it takes to get it in there in time, before the connection's closed. However, there are commands to change your MTU. That I believe on a 100 megabit wireless card, it stays at 1500, or that's the default. But you can override that to, I believe, 2300 on mine. There may be some on other, but 2300 was enough to send that payload. So the payload's pretty small. It's small enough.
Oh, Diane.
So let's see. Sniffing. Yeah, that's basically the process of Evilgrade. It's a pretty nifty tool. Now let's look at the risks versus the reward.
Call Diane. Yeah.
Okay, the risks, rewards, and the remedy. If you're going in over the Wi-Fi, you got the same risk as just being conspicuous, wearing all black with chains and a cool hat, laptop with metal signs on the back of it. There's worried about being spotted, I mean, don't be stupid. The Wi-Fi is obviously a risk. The other risk is, since you are running a daemon, while you're on their network, technically, they can connect to you just like you're trying to insert into them. So if you are running a certain web server on your machine and you're not fully patched, you don't have all of the latest updates, and there's rootkits out there for you, or there's exploits for what you're running, then since you are on that person's network and for whatever reason they're sniffing, or they find out that you're on there, they see an extra connection, they click view network, and all of a sudden there's an extra node, and they decide to check you out, make sure you're patched, because if the hunter becomes the hunted, that's kind of odd. Let's see, the risks. We'll keep going. Some of the rewards are you have a super user shell. You can execute programs using their processor. So increase CPU speed. You can basically launch programs on their computer. And like with stuff like Dyn DNS, anytime their computer's on, you'll have access to it. You can launch attacks on other computers. Use a cat's paw. You can basically launch attacks from their computer to other computers. One of the best rewards is that you can print on their printer, and because ink is expensive. Let's see. Any privileges that this person has? you now have those privileges. So their Facebook, their guide drives, their Google, their cloud storage, and one of the
And why not
the
just
ultimate
switch to cable line high-speed internet?
Why would I do that?
the ultimate payoffs is if they have a VPN. If they're connected to another network, technically you are them. So anytime they, their stuff is stored or they have it saved, you're going to have access to their VPN. Any of their information, that's yours. Remedies is install from source. If you're really worried about it, use a computer that you don't really care about and go get all your source code. Get it straight, and make sure you install from source, because the updates are exploited on apt-get. So having a repository of your own packages, or a local storage of your own the packages you use, and wait until you can transfer them from another computer, or just be real careful. The remedy is encrypt your network. Now, it's not foolproof, but if you're encrypting your network, then it's going to be a little bit harder to sniff packets. It's going to be a little bit harder to see what's going on. People don't want to encrypt their network when it's only, a small home, or you're sitting right next to the other computer. However, paying for your hardware and letting someone else use it, I guess that's a bit of a communal thing, but people aren't always about that. Let's see. Solve from source remedies. Well, obviously, like stuff like locking down your Wi-Fi, and I don't even know if I could put that as a remedy, but make sure your network's secure. Use strong passwords and shit like that. Oh, virus scans. I'm not totally sure if your virus scans are going to do you any good. I haven't really ever found a good Windows virus scan. I've had ones that pretended to be good. And let's see, risks. The risks are significantly lower than the rewards. Let's see. Basically, that's the gist of it. I had some other risks up there, but I don't remember what they were. You remember, Wayne, any risks that I had?
Because if they can get stabbed themselves if they're not careful.
Yeah, because one of the risks, running your own payload on yourself. Let's see. Man, damn! I had a couple more risks. There is a few risks to Evilgrade. But that's basically it. That's the concept of Evilgrade. We can post commands and run through it and stuff like that. But to me, it's always better to be able to see and imagine and visualize what's actually going on, so that if I run into any troubles, I can basically see what's going on in my mind and say, okay, checklist, and place my mind in certain places to think about things. I'm sure it was I had a little bit more information, but after 3 times, different. So that's the tutorial for Eternal LLC. In the tutorial section, we'll probably set it up for concepts and actual commands, but change it up a little bit. Understand,